So I wanted to take some time and just show you how we're going to wire everything. So this right here is a setup where you're going to kind of chain from one outlet box to another outlet box with your wire, and you'll have a power source coming from one side, and then you will connect it to your receptacle and from the power source, and then the other one's gonna chain over to your other box. So what it'll do is it'll transfer the power from one to the other. And so I want to show you how to do that. So these have already been hung. I've already cut the holes, but I thought it'd be good to kind of show you how it works from one box to another. And so what you will need for this job is, so you could go about drilling the holes in two ways. So you do need to have your holes drilled into your studs in order to get the wire through. You can just get one of these if you want and put it in your drill. Now it's going to be a little bit harder to drill through your studs with this, but it will work. A friend of mine gave me this to borrow, and this is like an 18-inch auger drill bit. And man, this thing just kind of shoots right through when you go. And like I said, I've already done the holes, but it'll shoot right through there. It'll actually pull you through it. You got to be careful because this will go and you could actually put a hole in the wall that you're trying to get through. You know, if you don't have that, then yeah, just get you one of these bits that'll help you just drill through it. And they work pretty good. But if you have two studs like this, it does make it a little more difficult. But you can punch through one side. If it's giving you a hard time, you can just come to the other side and try to punch through. Of course, you'll need your receptacles. These are just your 15-amp receptacles that you'll use, and each box will have it. You need your outlet box that you'll put in. These just now to the stud. These are for new construction. So they have these little stops right here that help you know where to align it. A little technique I use for putting the box in is I just get my hammer and I put it right here to where I can tell how high, and I just go around the wall and do that and nail it. And you can measure it so it's all in, at the same level all the way around, but you don't have to. All right, I have my wire. So this is 14 2-gauge wire. And this is rated for these type of boxes. There's all different gauges that you can use. You need some wire nuts. This is to put your ground in when we do the pigtails and do our ground. Then of course you'll need some wire strippers, something that you can cut your wire with if you need it. A screwdriver, box cutter. This is used to cut the wire. The sheathing off the wire, and I have another pair of pliers that I use to help go ahead and bend my wires, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So I also have the bucket to kind of put everything in. Just makes it easier if you have a bunch to do. You just move from place to place. I have an electric screwdriver here too if I need it. So and there's also another piece of wire that this is the actual ground. I've taken this off of, I've just made a couple of these. This is what I'm using as my pigtail, and I'll show you that in just a second. So let's go at it. We will start off by running our wire, and then we'll go from there. So this wire I have, it's actually going to run from one box to another box, and this will help us get our source of power in. So what I'm going to do first is just start feeding it through. And in here you have a place that you can just slide it in the box. These have tabs in the box that you actually can pop out. Now I bring it out just enough to where I'll have room to work with it. And then you come over here, you're going to do the same thing. Just pop it up, bring it down, and so you'll have room to work with it right here. So that's the first thing we'll do. We'll come over here in my actual power source. I'm going to run that. So we have this running to our circuit box. this wire. And so this wire's already been run. So we're going to bring it on the other side of this, because this is where all of our power is going to come from. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this with our box that has the power coming into it, and then the one that's going to be daisy chained over to the other outlet box. So basically the way you start off is you want to come and you want to cut the sheathing off of this. So basically you just come in here, get you a box cutter, cut you a little slit and peel it back, and make sure you get you enough that you can work with. You got plenty of wire, so you just kind of do this for each one. And I go ahead and prepare both of them at one time. You know, just to save time, you want to go ahead and do what you got to do for both of them. Don't cut yourself. Alright, so now that you have both of them cut, you want to come and take your wire strippers right here. Same thing with that. Make sure you give yourself enough room when you're taking the wire off, the coating off the wire. Right there, and I'll go ahead and do my other two. And I'm working at a weird angle for the camera, but so we'll see how this goes. All right, the next step would be to get your pliers right here. And so you want to bend, make a little loop on each one of these, because when you go to install it right here, so on this screw, it has to be curved in order to fit on the screw. So what I do is I go ahead and I'm going to come right here, just take the tip of it, put it in there just a little bit, enough, and bend it around. So this way you go ahead and help it out to where when you put it on the screw, it's already looped around. It makes it so much easier. And this took me a minute to kind of figure out the length I need and how wide and all that. Now the the ground we're not going to do, because these are going to get put together. So we're going to wait to do that. So go do your other one like that. And you could experiment with this. Like if you have a bunch to do, the first couple, you're going to definitely have to figure out how to do it. So see, just for that one, I think I went a little bit too low, but I think we'll have enough wire to figure that out. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead right here, and so on these, let me just show you this. So you're going to have, these are gold, but on the back it'll tell you, it says black wire. So on the back it says that, and then it says white. So all you want to do is for each one, the black can go here. So this could be your power coming in, and this could be the one going to the other outlet. And the same for here is you're going to do your white one here and another white one here, and you chain them in like that. Some people recommend doing what's called pigtails, and I've heard different opinions on that, but I figured if the outlet has these here for a reason, then I'm going to use them. The issue with the pigtails is you have a bunch of wires in there when you do that, so we're not going to do that today. And then this last one, this is where the gold one goes, but we will do a pigtail for that because there's two wires and you got to make one just to go around there. So little trick to these is, so if you think about the way this thing screws, so they go one way, right? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That's usually what you do. So if you're going to the right, you want your wire to be looped this way to where when you're tightening it, the wire is going to loop around. If the wire was looped that way, when you tighten it to the right, then it's just gonna take the wire off. And so the best thing to do is put it in the direction that you're gonna tighten. So if you put it over it, then it's gonna tighten the right way down when you get ready to do it. So, and I'll show you how to do that. So here we go. So here's our one coming in. So right here, I'm gonna put this in. So this is what I was getting at. If I was to do it this way, when I go to tighten it, it's gonna turn that way and it's just gonna come loose. So on the hot ones, you gotta do upside down like that. So basically you do it upside down, pull your wire in right there. There's a little tab right here that kind of helps. If you make your wire long enough, it's gonna help it kind of curve around. So then once you have it, I kind of add some pressure. So I'm pulling it out a little bit, so where the wire, is sitting up against the screw right there when I tighten it. But this is what I was getting at. So see, when I start to tighten down, my wire is going to go to the right, and that's the way I want it to, because I want it to just wrap around it more. If I was to do it the other way, it wouldn't wrap. And so you just kind of get it nice and snug right there. All right, so I did that one. So I got to do the same. I'm going to go ahead and do my other one. Do my other black one. So this one, if you notice, it's actually right here. So it's run here. See how it's coming? It's coming out this side, and it's going back over here to my other receptacle that I have. So that's just daisy chained over to where that will actually get power too. If not, you'd have to run, a wire all the way for each receptacle, and then you have its own circuit, and there's no reason to do that. And you're spending so much money too. All right, so here we go. So we did our hot wire. So this is where the power is coming in. The hot is always where the power is. Now we're going to do our white ones. These are our neutral ones. So this, because the screw goes the other way, so righty-tighty, it's going to go in a down position. Then I want my loop like this. All right, so here's where it gets a little, sometimes, if your loop, there it is. All right. Sometimes your loop is too wide. You have to go in there and push it in. Okay. I got that one. I'm gonna get my ground out of the way. So remember this, we want it facing that way. All right. There we go. Just tighten it down to where it's nice and snug. All right, so we got that down, got it good. So you got your two whites over here. Look over here. You got your two black, which is your power. Now we need these together because you have one screw. So we need to be able to get this around here. So there's something that's called a pigtail. So you take another piece of wire. So I have my other ground wire here that I get off of some scrap. And so first you want to get these and twist these together and put your wire nut around it. So if I was to say what was the hardest part of all this, is this, because these wires do not cooperate. And if you have an easier way, please comment and let me know. But basically you want to come and twist them first. So this is the part that they come unwound pretty easy. See how it's popping out on me? Can't tell you how many times I've had to do this. So I've wired 12 of these, and yeah, this has been the part that hasn't been fun at all doing this, but I think I might have it down a little bit better now. like I said, I'm sure there's an easier way. So I have those twisted. Now I just take my wire nut right here, and I just want to put it on all three of them. Do it nice and tight, and that way they stay together. If not, it's not going to stay together. It'll just wind. Okay. I think that's tight enough. All right, so now what we have is you have your pigtail, and that's what that is. See? So all it is you're combining multiple wires. You have a pigtail that'll come right here, and we'll wrap it around it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut off some of this because I'm not gonna need it all. Do my same technique of bending this around. I really like doing it ahead of time like this. It makes it so much easier. All right, and so this is your ground. It goes the same way. Righty-tighty. And you do got to make sure you kind of, see how it pops out right there? You don't want it popping out and the wire being, not on the screw when you screw it in. So you do have to kind of work it down and make sure you got it where you need it. Okay. All right, so there's our wires. We'll jam all this in here. But if you see, normally the third prong right there, it goes to the bottom. And basically from here, all you do is shove it in your box. Of course, you're gonna have some wire that's loose. So you put it in your box, and then you got your screws right here. I use an electric screwdriver. You can do it by hand if you want, but just be careful when you screw it in that you don't crack the box. So once you get close to it, go ahead and start slowing down. Then we'll do the bottom one, get it nice and straight. Okay. There we go. So we got it wired in, and we'll go over here to this next one on the other side and put that one in so you can see the full job done. All right, there it is. We have it, our power source coming in over there from the left. And then, so if you look right here, we have it run, and you have your power source. That's coming from the circuit box, and it goes in right there. And then that wire comes out, going through our studs, and coming back around, and we have going into this outlet. That's all there is to it.